Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing another tutorial. So here is the stuff you will need. You will need a cutting mat, gray tape, clear tape, scissors. This clear tape I don't use it very often, but on bifolds I usually always use it. An X-Acto knife, a post-it note, washi tape, plastic for your ID, a ruler, and 3 to 4 rolls of tape, however many you want to use, and let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut out a piece of tape that you want to be your billfold color. Mine is pink, and I'm going to cut it out to be 8 1/4 inches long. I'm going to do 2 of those and stack it up to be as tall as I can make it. Normally it's around 3 3/4, and then I'm going to cut off just a little bit to make it 3 1/4 inches tall. Forgot to mention, you will need to keep the piece of tape that you cut off. Now you're going to turn it over and just cover the whole thing with clear tape and do what I usually do. You don't have to, but I normally just take a card over it to get the clear tape a little bit more set on it, but you don't have to do that, and then flip it over and lay it to the side. Now you're going to take whatever color you're using for your trim. In my case, I'm going to be using pink, and I'm going to lay a piece. Normally it's about 4 inches long to 4.5, and I just have a little bit of leverage. You guys know I like leverage, and I'm just going to fold that piece that is hanging up into the billfold and move on to the hidden pockets. Now you're going to make your hiddens. To do that, you're going to take a piece of gray tape that is 7.5 inches long. You're going to do the same thing with a little piece of clear tape and the same thing with a piece of pattern tape. Then what you're going to do is you're going to flip it all over, cover the bottom with your clear tape, and then you're going to stack the bottom that you just covered up onto an inch line and put it to be to the first 1/4 of an inch line. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to explain. You guys will see what I'm doing, and it's kind of like self-explanatory once you see it. But you're going to do that, and then you're going to leave about a 1/2 of an inch of sticky at the top. This will just help you in the end. I don't know how else to explain it. It's self-explanatory. Just see what I'm doing here and try to copy it. Again, I'm sorry that it's kind of hard to explain, but basically you just stack it up to be like a 1/4 of an inch on the inch line, and then you cover the bottom, but you leave the sticky at the top. I know, I'm sorry, I'm bad at explaining. Now you're going to cut them in half. I just cut a little bit off mine because I had some clear tape on the sides, but you're going to cut them in half and leave them to the side to use later. Now cut a 4-inch piece of your gray tape and do your pockets just like you would a smallet or anything. Basically, if you don't know how to do that, you cut it to be 3 3/4 along with whatever pocket color you're doing. In my case, I was using another prism. In every tutorial, I guess I have to use prisms. But you're going to do that. You're going to pick it up from the gray tape, not the pattern or color that you're using, and then you're going to cover the back with clear tape. As you can see, it is a little bit harder to do when you're using prisms because they like to stick to the clear tape before you want it to. So you're basically just going to cover it up. I run my card over it, and then you lay it to the side and just do that 3 more times. Your pocket color, in my case, again, it's a prism, and you're going to cut it to be 4 inches long, and you're going to stack that up as much as you can. Again, it's probably going to be around 3 3/4, and then you're going to clear tape only one part of it. It's a little kind of hard to explain, but once you do that, that is basically like the ID piece. So you do want to just clear tape 1/2 of it and have some sticky. Like in my small video, I do not show how I trim my card pockets. It's not my method, so I won't be showing it until I know that they have done it before, like on a video. So I'm sorry about that, but here's me singing to 5 Sauce. Now you're going to clear tape your trims. What I do is I lay a piece of clear tape on all of my pockets, and then I'm going to run a card over them to get the air bubbles out and try to attempt to get all of them out. Now you're going to take your hidden pockets and line them up on an inch line. What I like doing is taking my ruler, and I'll show you guys what I do. A lot of people do ask me like how I get my trims like not straight, but how I get them to not be crooked and diagonal. what I do is I line them up along my ruler. A lot of people think that's hard because sometimes it can make them crooked because you can't really see what you're doing, but if you have a cutting mat and a ruler, it does really help. But I take the longest line on my ruler, as you guys can see, and line it up with a dot. That just tells me that each side will have the same amount of length to it. So what I do is I take 2 regular card pockets and I line them up along my ruler, and then I remove my hiddens from the cutting mat and I just go with it and hope for the best. Basically, I just lay them down and I put the card pockets however far apart that I want or that I'm feeling that day, and I hope that it turns out good, and hopefully it does. Now I'm going to take my clear tape. I already cut it into 5 strips, and I'm going to cover the sticky in my card pockets. It's really easy to do. All you do is you put the clear tape right where the sticky is, and I'm just going to take some washi tape and hold down my card pocket so that I know that they don't move when I try to trim. And right here it come up, so I just went ahead and stuck it back down, but I do that to both sides. I'm taking my pattern tape and I'm going to cut it to be 4.5 inches long. Again, you guys know my favorite word, leverage, so I'm going to do that. And I usually trim my sides a little bit less than 1/2 inch. I mainly line it up on the outer part of the dot, and then I line it up like that. I don't know, it's just how I like my trims. So then I'm going to cut the slits, and I cut straight upwards. I don't cut the little piece on top. I don't know why, I didn't, so I don't really do it. It's just extra work. It's gonna get cut off anyways, so I just do the same thing to the ID part and go from there. Now I'm going to tape my clear tape, and I use a whole strip on this piece because my clear tape, it just wasn't working out. It kept folding up and stuff, so I just used a whole piece to make sure that I had enough on each side. So I'm just going to cover my slits. I did do different slits than I normally do. I just did the pointed ones, so you can do whatever you want. If you're just doing the regular straight across slits, then you don't have to cut them before you clear tape it, but if you do any other one, I recommend doing it so that it won't peel up. It won't really have a chance to. So I'm just going to clear tape my card pocket side along with my ID side. Now I'm going to cover the sticky in my ID. I just used this little scotch tape thing, so I'm just going to cover the sticky in my ID. Now you're going to fold over your billfold piece that you made first, and you're going to line it up with the top of the clear tape that you did on the back of the hiddens. I did mine upside down, so I ended up having to fix it, but I didn't really put that in because I was like really Carly. But I'm just going to fold it over. I make sure that mine is completely lined up, and then I fold it over and trim it down to 1/2 inch and then clear tape it.
But I'm so stupid.
Now I'm going to cut a 4-inch piece of tape. I had to trim something off of it, but I'm going to cut that in half and add it to the top of the hidden and fold it over under to itself. A little hard to explain, just like every other part, but right here I sign my wallet. I always sign my wallets. I recommend signing your wallets. Just make sure that it's yours. So I'm just going to do that to cover the sticky and the hiddens, and I trim the sides off, and yeah. Now I'm going to make another piece of my pink tape or your billfold color. In my case, I did not want to use prism because it would make it really flimsy, so I just cut a 8 1/4 inch piece of my billfold color and stacked it up to be 3.5 inches tall, and I'm going to cover it with my pattern tape. I leave about 1 inch to 2 inches on each side. Again, leverage, and I lined it up on mine, but you do not have to line it up, but I do recommend it because it makes the wallet look a little bit better. I don't know, I just really like it, so I ended up lining it up. So yeah. Now you're going to cut the slits for your billfold. I cut mine a little bit outwards, so angled, and I'm going to cut that down to be 1/2 inch. Again, it's personal preference. If you want to do whatever measurement you want to, then go ahead and do that, but my preference is 1/2 inch because if it's any less, it usually peels a lot faster if you don't clear tape it, and this side of the billfold, you don't really have to clear tape the inside. So I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom, but instead of folding onto itself, I'm going to fold it onto the card pockets. Again, everything in this video is hard to explain, so I'm sorry if I really suck at explaining. I hope you guys can make the wallet and like have it done and stuff and me not mess you guys up. But you're going to take that piece of tape that I told you guys to keep in the very beginning, and you're going to cover the sticky of your wallet with that piece of tape. I like clear taping mine. It just helps it won't get gunky. It does help the wallet being stable. It won't rip or anything. So that is what you're going to do. Again, it's personal preference. You don't have to do this, but I do like to do it because it does help the wallet out in the future. So yeah. Now is the time you guys need to cut the bottom of the trim that you guys just folded over not that long ago. as you can see, it took me a while to do it because the tape kept sticking to my ruler and it was really making me mad. So I'm going to cut that down to be, again, 1/2 inch. This is, again, personal preference. So I'm going to cut that down. Also, I forgot to mention, this is the time that you want to cut the trim in the ID. It is something that I normally do before I clear tape, but I forgot to do it today. And then you're going to fold over the sticky that's on your sides of your wallet. I cut mine down to, again, 1/2 inch, and then you're going to cut your slits and then clear tape the whole thing, and then you're done.